for the Kalamazoo Wiffle Ball. And we have a panel today, starting with Brian Lewis, our commissioner. Welcome, Brian.
Hey, Grant. Good to be here.
And then we also got Justin Gregory. Hey, Justin.
What's up, Grant?
And then Nate Thompson joined us as well. What's up, Nate?
What's going on?
All right, so just to jump into this for the listeners listening in, we want to jump on, give everybody a high-level recap of the regular season and for the Kalamazoo Wiffle Ball League. So our league just finished up the regular season. It's a 24-game season, and we're going to be jumping into playoffs starting Monday, August 15th. So really high level before we jump into things. We're going to be talking about some of the division changes we did this year that was different. We're then going to talk about some of the team surprises and some 2 to 3 players that surprised people, both in the social and competitive divisions. We'll talk on regular season accomplishments, basically MVP, Cy Wiffle. These aren't official, but just some hot takes. And then we're going to jump into the playoff preview. So everybody ready here?
Yep.
Awesome.
All ready.
Let's get into it. So for those, again, not familiar with KWL, we actually changed up in years past. We had 2 different divisions, and we just had teams playing on Mondays, and we had teams playing on Thursdays, and those were the 2 divisions. And what we would find was there were some teams in there who were really competitive, and all they wanted to do was win. There was other teams in there who, they were more there for the fun, social element, a lot of drinking involved. So what we did this year was we changed it up when we went with a competitive division and a social division. And it seemed to work out really well. So, Brian, you played on the social side. You want to give a high-level recap of how that went this year?
Yes. So, Grant, we found it was really positive in the ways that we were hoping that it would be, and it was chill. So the Thursday nights were our social nights, and they were still a lot of close games, but they were fun, but more relaxed. And so even the players and the teams that were fun to play with in previous years, they were just more relaxed. And so what we found is that some of the top skill players kind of their stats were down a little bit. They're still top tier players for social division. And then what we found is that some of the rookies were in years past probably would have taken 3/4 of a season to get up to speed, came up much quicker after maybe 4 or 5 games. And we also found a defense was very strong for the new teams this year and new players. And I think that a lot of that goes to just having a more relaxed atmosphere. So it was really everything that we were hoping for in making the split. And I think the social division will definitely be back next year with several new teams already.
Yeah. And I know we had a number of players kind of reach out in the middle of the year and we're like, hey, can we jump in and try? And it was like the perfect segue putting them into the social division where we didn't really care about roster sizes as much and someone could come in and just try it right away. So big success for sure. Gregory, I know you were on the competitive division. Could you give us a rundown on how that went?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just mirrors what Brian was saying on the other side of the coin. Last year when we were thinking about making this change, a lot of the talk from the guys who were super competitive and building good teams was that they wanted to play more competitive games because those are the times that they had the most fun, right? Like that's what they're out there to do, is to compete and play, high level football games and have a great time. So we definitely saw that a lot this year. And some of the other things that, as us as kind of the people that run the league, we're looking to see was that it made it more competitive and shook up the league a little bit. And that's exactly what it did. We had guys switching teams. Some teams had split up. Some guys that teams went to social, had some competitive players that came over. And, so it kind of shook up the league in a good way where it kind of moved some people around and really balanced it out. I mean, I would say, like you put on our Instagram the other day, how the preseason power rankings and how everyone saw things shaking out just didn't really go that way at all. We had teams that really excelled and did well. And I really liked how everyone kind of was trading blows, and no one ran away with it by any means. So I think that was great to see, and looking forward to the all season for sure, or the postseason for sure.
Yeah, it's anyone's game. I mean, it's really a coin flip. I think there's no clear winner. So I mean, for the listeners, our end of season, the Flying Monkeys won the competitive division. They with a record of 19-4-1. So for a little background on them, they actually started in 2019. They're a relatively new team, bunch of young guys. Ty Smith captains that. The rest of the roster goes down to like Drew Habel and Jake Longman, who they're both sophomores in high school, and they're balling out and doing really well. I mean, Drew throws like 90 miles an hour, and that's with a gun, so that's legit. And Jake, I mean, that dude hit a bunch of bombs this year in a tough division. So I mean, they're both up and coming rising stars. And on the other side, or to continue rounding out their roster, you had Brendan Baranowski, who he just put together an MVP type season, and then his younger brother Chris Baranowski, who really came out of nowhere with his pitching, and he led their team with innings pitched. So they did a great job and are going to be the 1 seed, and then they're actually going to be playing the winner of the social division, which Lewis's team, Scared Hitless. A lot of people know who Scared Hitless are. They're a longtime powerhouse in the KWL, and they won the social division with a 15-9 record. So, Gregory, I'm going to ask you first. What team surprised you the most this year, and why? And that can be both from the social division or competitive division.
I'm going to have to say the Flying Monkeys, and here's why is, no one thought coming into this season that they were a slouch team by any stretch of the imagination, but they came out and just, really played well as a team. They put good series together. I think they're learning a lot. I mean, Baranowski is definitely playing a lot of wiffle ball these days. So, Drew's really developed really nicely, like you were saying. And I mean, yeah, I wasn't expecting them to come out and be as tough as they've been, and they've really put together a nice team. So that was surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that surprised a lot of people. I remember when we were doing the preseason polls, there's people putting them at like sixth out of in the competitive divisions, got 7 teams. There's people who literally put them at sixth or fifth. So very, very surprising there. Nate, you're next. Same question. Who and why?
So I also had the Monkeys written down, but guided wiffles.
Yeah.
I think as a team going into a competitive division, that's a very tough task, no matter if you've played any wiffle ball before in a different league, whatever. But to come into the competitive division, and I think they ended up with 7 wins.
Yep.
As the season went on, I know we played them pretty early on, but as the season went on, looking at the scores, they just played competitive game after competitive game, it seems like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, that's a bunch of high school kids from Kalamazoo Central. Some of them haven't even started high school. Some of them just finished up their 8th grade year. So really impressive. I mean, they really started coming on at the end. They played Monkeys really tough. Colton Stoll lost 2-1 to Brendan Baranowski 2 weeks ago, and then we lost to them the following week 5-4, where Swanson he threw great. I mean, he just beat us up, and then we ended up giving up a couple runs in the last inning, and they beat us 5-4. And then same thing with that Colton Stoll, who, I mean, he's got a plus riser, and he lost to us 1-0, and he was throwing great. I mean, we had 1 home run off him, and that was it. So they could shock somebody. I know, Gregory, they play you. They could shock somebody. We'll get into that matchup in a bit, though. Brian, what's your team that most surprised you this year, and why?
For me, it's Brutane Clan. So Josh Buck, their captain, did some really smart offseason moves. So they brought in Chase Audette and Zach Milborn. And they also had picked up a great rookie in Logan Hunter. But the surprising thing, so they added a lot of talent, but they still remained a really fun team to play against and to watch on the streams. And a lot of teams, as they get more competitive, and have more wins each season, they lose some of that fun, and that was not the case for Brutane Clan. So they were definitely evolved a little bit in their skill level this year, and it showed in their win-loss record. So they came in at 500, which was second place in the social division, but there was still that same team that Josh Buck has built over the last few years. So that was a big surprise for me.
Yeah, I mean, does anybody remember when they started 2019, 2020?
18 or 19 maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
they had like 4 or 5 wins up until this year, and they tripled that output in 1 year. And like Brian said, I mean, Logan Hunter, not only was he a great pickup, but apparently he's the plug for if you want some sick cleats. I don't know if you guys saw those like golden plated cleats that he brought in for the team. They're Adidas. They're like Adi Zeros.
Yeah, he's definitely got connections.
Yeah, he knows some people. All right, let's get into the regular season accomplishments. So again, the official vote doesn't actually happen until after playoffs, so a lot can change here. But if the season ended today, who would be your guys' MVP, Cy Wiffle, Yellow Slugger, and Rookie of the Years award winners? And you can pick whatever division you want to go to. You can even include all of them. Just need to name one person from each. Greg's, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. All right, so we're listing all of them. All right, so I mean, Cy Wiffle, I gotta go Hogue. Triple digits to strikeouts this year. Just put together a really nice season. Just still throwing top level. But it's super close, man. I mean, like, Nate's right up there. I mean, there's a couple guys in this league that, it's just really tough when you see them. I mean, you put a couple hits on them and there's a big accomplishment. But the good thing is we've seen a lot of the good pitchers, be hit a lot more this year. I mean,
Yep.
I think last year, Nate only gave up a few hits, and it was more than that this year, and that was nothing against him. He's still a fantastic pitcher and getting better, but the hitters have gotten just really, really good. I mean, as far as my yellow bat, I got to go with UG. You're just lights out, man. Every time I come up to the plate, I'm like, God damn it, don't let this guy hit a home run. You crush the ball. You're playing a lot of the competitive tournaments around the country, and it shows, man. Just you're a tough hitter. Let's see what else. Rookie of the year, man.
It's a tough one this year. There's
a tough one.
There's a number of players this year on that Rookie of the Year. We had a lot of rookies, and if you look in the top 10 of the stats for hitting, there's a number of rookies in there. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, you can go any which way. I mean, I think there's just a ton of names you got to throw out there. I mean, Sawyer from your team. I mean, for him to come in and pitch the way he's pitching, that's impressive. So some of the guided Wiffles guys. I mean, there's a few guided Wiffles guys that just in the short time that they developed. I mean, hats off to them for sure. Man, it's going to be a tough one. I don't even know if I can give a name right now. I'll be honest.
That's fair. It's pretty close between a couple of them. What about MVP?
That's tough to call it right before the postseason. I'm gonna go. With. God damn it! I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with Hogue. I'm gonna have to go with Hogue because I think the Legends are winning it, and I think he's gonna have a good series one way or another in the end to cap off a good season.
Hey, Hogan's a great pick. What about your guys' teammate Lee? So if you looked at the pitching stats, Lee's got a .97 ERA, 37 innings pitched, 6-0. Hogan is 6-1 with a 1 save with a 1.60 ERA, 45 innings pitched, but he does lead the league in strikeouts. They're so close.
It's a toss up. Like honestly, it could be it's going to be whoever has that series. I think there's going to be guys that step up in that postseason. I mean, Hogan's definitely shown that he can do it. Lee's definitely shown that he can do it, right? So it could be either of them. There could be a surprise. The postseason is what really shows kind of the strong teams and the strong players, and I think there's definitely because I could see Diablo's Nate lockdown. I mean, everyone. It was so competitive this year, and everyone had such a great season. It's gonna be a real toss up.
For sure. Nope, I agree with that. Nate, what do you got?
So for my MVP, I put you, Grant. 24 home runs, 81 RBIs. It was hard for me to find anybody else that was comparable to that. Couple honorable mentions though that Gregory hadn't mentioned was Baranowski. In my opinion, he's the best player on the number 1 seed. So I feel like as far as MVP, he needs to be in that conversation. And then I want to give a shout out to one of my teammates who I think is at an MVP type season, Mitch Van Scoik. Really first year playing wiffle ball. He was kind of like part-time last year. He's only thrown like 7 games of wiffle ball, and I think he's only lost 1 game or 2 games. So like, I think his ERA was like 1.5 or something. So
it's insane.
I think he could be in the MVP category as somebody else to mention and throw out there. Yellow Slugger, Grant, again, I got you. Looking at Baranowski, though, I think he's in the top 3 probably for that category. And then Hogan for Cy Wiffle. I know he had the rough outing at the beginning of the year, rebounded. His ERA is down to 1.6, leads the league in strikeouts. Again, Lee was right there. I had him written down. And then Sawyer and Hunter from the social division as far as the rookie of the year. Sawyer hit screwball. I don't know what he calls it. I think's nasty. So got to throw him out there.
Yeah, for the listeners, Sawyer Behan, he was also the number 3 draft pick in MLW. He's on my team, the Bad Boys, and he's the first person in the league that I know of who throws like a super curve, but with a clean ball. So a lot of people have seen that with the cut ball, but he throws it with a clean ball, and it's just as nasty. So it's wipeout stuff.
I think Kayvon's the only person I've seen throw that pitch.
Maybe Kayvon. You're right.
I think those are the only people I've ever seen throw that pitch.
Yeah, it's nasty. It's nasty. All right, Brian, what do you got?
So I'll be going just on the social side. So MVP, I'm going to give it to Zach Milbourne, who's been in the league for a long time and has been plagued with injuries over the last few years. So his pitching velocities definitely come down, but he still had 4 wins this year and 39 strikeouts. And he led the social side with home runs. So he had 22 home runs, over a 600 batting average, 11 doubles. So he had huge numbers. So I'm giving Zach the MVP and the Yellow Slugger. Those some other people that are in the mix there. Adam Kuzman from my team from Scared Hitless, and also Josh Ballard is a potential Yellow Slugger candidate.
Yeah.
Who is another player that kind of came back and had 18 home runs this year.
Gingerbread.
Yeah, Gingerbread. That's how the stats look on the website.
Best nickname in the book in KWL.
For Cy Wiffle, Bryce Botke, still pitching really strong. This is one of those players that I think maybe toned it down a little bit, or he could have had really dominant numbers. But still 47 strikeouts, the lowest WHIP, and second lowest ERA on the social side. And then rookie of the year going to Logan Hunter of Brutang, who we talked about a little while ago.
Yeah. Yep. No, those are all good picks. And I'm not going to go through the full list. I wanted to add a couple points. So MVP, to me, it's down to between Brendan, Mitch, Lee, Mark, and Nate. I mean, there's 5 of them, and it's really close. I mean, you can dice this up however you want. I think the interesting topic is Mitch versus Brendan because against Baranowski. Those two are so similar. Mitch's got a 1.47 ERA. Baranowski's got a 1.67 ERA. So those are second and fourth respectively. And then you look at the batting stats. I mean, they're really similar. I mean, I think Bear's got more hits and more RBIs, but when you look at like average on base slugging, they're all like neck and neck. So I think those are two second-year players that are like really kind of fun to watch. I think it's going to come down to playoffs, so for what that is. I know, Nate, you mentioned me. For the listeners, I only threw 7 innings this year. I kind of had some elbow issues, so that's, in my terms, I wouldn't even include me in that race. And then for rookie of the year, I think you guys hit it on the head. If I had to pick, kills me to say I wouldn't go Sawyer. I would go with Colin Honley. He was second in the KWL this year with hitting. He hit over 500 as a rookie. I mean, usually hitting comes on later than pitching. And he led the league in doubles. He had like 8-9 home runs. So really, really incredible performance for like I think he's 15. So
List a lot of guys added Wiffle's team as far as rookie of the year. I mean, they got way better as the season.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, Colton Stoll, that dude's riser, and he's throwing hard now. I mean, the first time we played him, he's probably gained it easily 10 miles an hour just by getting more confident in throwing it. So
Easy.
yeah, I mean, he's already a top pitcher in the league, in my opinion. All right. So we're going to move on to playoff previews here. So I'll walk through the seeds first. So again, 1 seed were the Flying Monkeys. And then we're going to the Legends, who Mike Hogan's team, Gregory's team. Bad Boys came in 3rd. That's my team. Diablos came in 4th. That's Nate's team. Then we had Smash Bros. They're not represented tonight, but that's Danny Lindstrom. He's the captain. Chuckers came in 6th. Again, they're not represented either. That's John Kordowski's team. And then Guided Wiffles came in 7th. And then and that's Joey Spada's team, and then Scared Hitless, who they represent tonight with Brian. So we're each going to go through each team, talk about their biggest keys for success. You know, what are going to be those biggest challenges and obstacles, and then who the biggest X factor is for the playoffs. So this should be pretty fun. And then after this, we'll talk about the actual matchups and who we think will win. So we're going to start with the Monkeys here, and Nate's going to talk about them. So again, Nate, biggest keys for success, biggest challenge, and then who's going to be that big X factor for them?
I really think the biggest key for success for them is just going to be continuing what they did in the regular season. I mean, they played so well as a team, pitching, hitting. Like, as a pitcher, they're one of the hardest lineups to pitch to. There's just not really a hole in that lineup. So I think just having that carry over and keeping that momentum going in the playoffs for them, being able to pitch in the big games. Baranowski, I know everybody mentioned it earlier, but he's played a lot of football this year, three different leagues, really. I mean, MAW, MLW. I know he's playing in ULIFs later on. He's pitched in a lot of big games here, so I feel like that's going to help him a ton in the playoff as far as getting in those big matchups and having those key innings when he needs to.
Agreed. We'll go down to Legends. So Gregory, again, keys for success, biggest challenge. Who's your biggest X factor?
I think keys for success is just going to be putting a good series together. I mean, I think that's what KWL playoffs are all about, is putting good series together. We've had 3 really strong pitchers this year in Hogan and Lee, and Mark Ford came, out of retirement, and he's been throwing really, really well. So, those will be our top 3. And then we also have the Instagram sensation, Ira Cohen, that can come in there and close them out if we need him to. So I think our pitching is going to be important, but I think our keys for success are really going to be getting those bats going. There's more than one team in the playoffs that has really good 1-2 punches with pitching. And in a best 3 series, that's all you need, right? Is to put a couple good games together. So, getting the bats working early and pushing some runs across on those really good pitchers is going to be the key for success for us, I think. So, X factors, I'm going to go with probably Lee is our X factor, just because he has the ability to strike really quick with a big home run, and he's also been throwing just incredible his last couple of outings. So I think if between him, Hogan, and Mark, they put a strong strong rotation together. I think it's going to be a good off season for us, postseason for us.
Yeah, Mark, for the listeners, he quote unquote retired 2 years ago, sat out those last 2 years. He's came back this year, and he hasn't missed a step. And he actually put together like his best pitching year ever. Like he's got like a 2 ERA. He always had some issues with getting erratic on the mound and kind of walking people. That's like gone away, and the dude's just been. I mean, nobody's touched him. I think he's one of the few pitchers who hasn't actually given up a home run either. I mean, like he's been awesome this year.
Yeah, and I mean, and not to not to forget some other people. I mean, we still have Marcus Cole is a big bat. He's hit really well this year. He's going to be coming off his wedding. He's a newly married man right now.
That's a good
so
point.
We'll see what kind of shape he's in on tomorrow. But and then you also have Liberty. Liberty came up with a couple giant hits this year that won big games for us. And not only that, I still think he's probably the most underrated fielder in the KWL, if you ask me. So he's been really big for on defense. So it's been a real team effort all year. So it's gonna be fun.
100%. And for those who don't know the Ira Cohen reference, check out our Instagram. We had a video get 20 million views on Instagram. I mean, it was huge, and it was Ira throwing two ephuses that hit the top of the board, and then he blows it by a kid with a fastball. So it's pretty funny. Check it out. All right, we're going to jump to the Bad Boys 3 seed. I'm going to talk on us. Biggest key to success for us, I think, is going to be pitching. So we have a lot of pitching depth. Biggest issue for us is just consistency on the mound. So we got Ayers. David Ayers has been great. We know what we're going to get with him. But then it really comes down to Lance and Sawyer, and both of them have shown that they can like shut down the top teams in this league. But they've at the same time have shown that if it's not their day, it's going to be tough riding for them. So I think that's going to be our biggest challenge, our biggest key for success, and also, for biggest X factor, it's Sawyer and Lance. I mean, those two, if they're hot, I mean, we're going to be really tough to beat. I think Sawyer and Lance can be two of the best pitchers in the league when they're on. So it'll be really interesting to watch how our team does there. All right, going down to number 4, Diablos. Nate, you want to take it away?
Yep. So I put the biggest thing for us is just experience. Like round 1 of the playoffs, 3 out of our 4 players were rookies last year. Kyle Owen won't be able to be there tomorrow for the week 1 matchup. So really, just playoff experience. I mean, those guys have played in 3 playoff series their entire wiffle ball career. So they're going to have to step up and whether it be at the plate or on the mound and give us some good innings and good at-bats.
Yep, I agree with that. In biggest X factor, did you say that? Did I miss that?
A big X factor. You mentioned him earlier. He's having an MVP type season, so we just need him to keep that going in the playoffs and see where it can take us.
Yep, he's a gamer. I don't think the big stage will waiver him at all. Not one bit.
He has 13 home runs this year. This will be his last week because he has season-ending surgery Friday. So we will be down.
That's a big bat. That I didn't realize that. And he's a good depth arm too. I mean, he's got some. Yep. He can shut some people down too.
He's a great bat.
Yeah.
13 runs and 42 RBIs. Yep.
He put together a really good year. Again, another second-year player. So, going down to Smash Bros. Number 5. Lewis, you want to take this one away? Oh, I'm sorry, not Lewis. This is going to be Gregory. So again, Gregory, Smash Bros. Biggest keys for success, biggest challenge, and who's the biggest X factor?
I mean, let me just say, I love these guys. These guys are the funnest team to play. I love every time I play them.
Yep.
But it's the Lindstroms and the Spitzleys. I mean, that's it. That's their 5 guys. They're great guys. And I just like, Johnny was great to see come back out this year and see him pitching on the mound again. It's great to see. So, as far as their keys to success, I mean, their keys to success are just playing their best game, and that's being scrappy wiffle ball players. I mean, these guys, I think I've said it once, I'll say it again. I think they're one of the most underrated teams out there. just because of the way that they came into this league, divisions they've been in. Their record has never been all that great. However, I get nervous every time I play them. They put balls in play off really good pitching. They put small ball together, and I think that's what's going to be, something that they need to do. But their X factor is going to be their pitching. If Danny can come in and throw the way that he can throw by keeping guys off tempo and squeezing out games that way, that's going to be the X factor. And then next man up coming in and winning a big game. But I think they can do it. Like I said, I think they can beat anybody, and they do. They beat everybody. It's about putting those units together is going to be what's important for them.
They have. They had the big early season surprise against your team, the Diablos, Nate, and they swept you guys. I know you weren't there, but they play so many tight games, and I know sometimes they get the short end of the stick and they fall just short of it. But Danny, he's taken his game up to the next level. He's a top 10 pitcher now, and he always had that talent, but he finally showed it this year throughout a full year. And the biggest surprise I had on them, nobody would have guessed this, but Joey Lindstrom, who I think a lot of people kind of overlooked in years past, Joey's actually their best hitter this year statistically. He hit over 400. Yeah,
they're all 300 or better. They're all 300 or better hitters. That's tough in this league with this year, the way that we've done it.
Way to put up runs.
Oh yeah, they do. In the Spitz leagues, Lucas and Travis, those guys ball out too. It's incredible. It's like a new guy every year steps up for them. So yeah, they're going to be exciting to watch.
Yeah, they're competitors completely.
Yeah, they are, and they drive over an hour to get to KWL games. They drive from Lansing. All right, so we're going to the 6th seed, Chuckers. Lewis, you're going to take the Chuckers again. Keys for success, biggest challenge, biggest X factor.
Yeah, so really what they have to win game one. John Cordocus is a great manager, and he knows this. And so I don't know if AJ Tate will throw in game one, but whatever game AJ throws, he also has to have 2 shutout innings. So those first 2 innings, if he walks 4 or 5 batters, they lose the series. So AJ, when he's on, he can still throw no hitters. So he's got to have 2 shutout innings. The Chuckers, some of their players can lose their heads and get over emotional, and they got to not have that happen this series. And I think their X factor really is going to be their speed. And throughout a lot of seasons, they would have, and people joked about them for this, but they would have the most walks as a team by 20, 30, 50. And this year they're the lowest. So I think for them to be successful, they got to get people on base however they want to do it. And then I think Alex Cordocus, if they end up winning this series, will be the big factor, because he is a very fast dude. And I could see him scoring 5 or 6 times in the series.
Easily. Alex is, again, it's his 2nd year, and he's a scary hitter because he puts the ball in play, and the dude's a lefty, and he gets down to first quicker than anybody in the league. He's easily the fastest. So I agree with that. And then Chef, I think Shefford's going to be important to watch him. He had a really good start, and then he kind of hit that wavy period in the middle of the season. But the last couple of weeks, he's found it back again. So this is a team who could surprise people. They won the KWL. What year was that? 2017.
27. Yeah, I think so. Yep.
2017. So they've done it before, so they're going to be exciting to watch. All right, going down to number 7, Guided Wiffles. Again, it's the brand new rookie team, bunch of high schoolers from Kalamazoo Central. I'm going to take them. Biggest thing for them is timely hitting. So I think with Stoll and Swison, I'm probably slaughtering his name, but Andre, they got the top 2 ace level pitchers to shut people down. I think it's going to just come down to, can they score enough runs? And I know they got good eyes. They'll get their walks. With the Homeleys, if they're there, they're going to get clutch hitting. Those 2 both were top 5 home run hitters this year, and they've hit home runs off guys like Lee. So is this really going to come down to, can they get enough hits and can they score enough runs to keep up with some of these more experienced teams? So biggest X factor, I think it comes down to Colton Stoll. If he can pitch like he's been pitching, and they strategically use him throughout the series, he can win a game and maybe even close a second game to win a series for him. So I think it's going to be big for him. All right, dropping down to number 8, our final team, scared hit list. Lewis, what you guys got? You excited for this? It's the first season where you have a social team, quote unquote, even though you guys are kind of loaded, where you can beat anybody.
Yeah, so we really need to think. We know we can beat the Monkeys, and we think we can make a deep run, but we've got to get the competitive edge back because we haven't had to have it throughout most of the year, and we haven't had a lot of close games. And so I think with our bats haven't had to face tough pitching like we will see in this series. So I think we've got to score early, and then our pitchers have, because we're not going to score a lot of runs, have to make sure that like we don't allow many runs. So if the Monkeys score more than 5 runs, we don't keep them under that. That'll be it. And then I think our X factor is going to be Bryce Botke. So he may come in and have 3 home runs and throw a 1-hit shutout game. And I think for us to win that series, that's gonna have to happen.
Yeah, no, good points. I think it'll be interesting to watch you guys. I know the Monkeys, speaking with them, they're like, dang, we have to play hitless. Like, that's not an easy draw as being the 8th seed. So that'll be fun.
So Lewis, I have a question for you, since I haven't seen you guys much in the social league. Has the reduction in competitive spirit reduced Mason's bat throw percentage?
It has completely. I think he's had
just a little bit.
Drastically. There used to be 50. That's a slight exaggeration. 15 bat throws a season by Mr. Mason Everett, and they were good. They were creative. And this year it's 1 or 2 maybe.
What's the over/under series on bat throws for him? Is there a number?
5. Yeah, 5 for the series, I think would be
I like that. I like that.
Where I would bring it in at. Yeah, so that might be a fun thing for Instagram of what people think over or under.
Awesome. Well, I think we're getting a little short on time here. I saw a notice on our meeting here might end, so we'll kind of run through this quick. We're going to go through each series, who the winners are for the opening series, and then we're going to talk about KWL champions. So, Monkeys versus Hitless. Greggs, you're going to start us off. Who wins?
Sorry, Brian. I'm taking the Monkeys.
Nate, what do you got?
I gotta go Monkeys. I agree.
Lewis, you picking your team?
I'm picking my team.
I love the confidence. I got the Monkeys as well. We'll see what happens there. Next one is going to be Legends versus Guided Wiffles. Gregory, what are you guys going to do here?
I think we're going to take them. I'm taking us. But I think it'll be tough. I think we'll have to play them.
Yeah. No, they might surprise you one game, but I think you're right. Nate, what do you got?
I'm going Legends, and I think all of this playoff series have a chance to be closer than some might expect.
Yes, 100%. Lewis, you got any differences here?
Legends for me too. I think it'll be a sweep. I think there'll be tough games, but I don't think the rookies have not enough experience.
Yep. Next one, we got Bad Boys versus Chuckers. Gregory, this is going to be a good one. Who do you got?
I'm going to have Bad Boys in 3 games.
Yep.
Nate? I think.
I'm going to go Bad Boys. I think it's a sweep.
Oh, okay. Lewis?
And I'm going Bad Boys in 3 also. I think the Chuckers are going to sneak one out, but I just don't think they're going to have enough power to get the series.
Yeah, I'm going to take us too, but this is going to be a close one. I mean, if we don't come to pitch and the Chuckers are on pitching, they could be a complete flip where they sweep us. So it's going to be a good one. All right, last and final matchup. This is a rematch of last year, Nate. Diablos versus Smash Bros. It went 3 games and it was close. You guys snuck out and got the victory. But Nate, I'll start it with you on this one. Who do you got?
I have to go us. I think it's gonna be a tough. They're always tough. Every single game, like Gregory said, against the Smash Bros. You don't get any easy wins against them. So.
Yep. Gregory?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Diablos too. Yeah, I think Smash Bros. Play them tough, but I think Diablos come out on top.
Yep. Lewis?
Diablos for me. I think it's going to be in a sweep, though they are playing at Township Park, which is a field Smash Bros. Always play well at. So I think
That's
that could be another X factor.
Great take there.
Short fences there.
Yeah,
That's
great
right.
take there. Great take there. All right, we might get cut off here. If we do, we'll have to re-record it. But Gregory, who do you got? Who's going to be the eventual KWL champs this year?
I think maybe I'm biased, but I think Legends take it home. I think we have the pitching rotation that is going to take to get through a best of 5 series in the championship.
Can't argue that. I can't argue that, Nate.
So I'm gonna take the Diablos out of the equation because bias. Obviously, you always want or think that your team has a chance to win it all. I'm gonna go Legends because I think they have the best 3-man rotation on the mound.
Yeah. Yep. Lewis?
I'm taking Legends also. I think this is going to be the year without quite as much pressure on Lee Van Streen that he's going to have a great playoff run and get his first championship.
Good point would be
And then also just on social side. Yeah, on social side real quick. So the social side tournament's called the Tom Selleck Festival Competition. And so that's the 4 teams there. And I think Brutang and Graboids are going to be in that final, and I think Graboids come out on top for their second Tom Selleck championship in a row.
I'm taking Brutang in that matchup.
Me too.
I'm going Brutang.
Brutang.
Ooh.
Off.
Awesome. Well, I'll wrap it up here. I'm going to take the Monkeys. I think it's in them. I agree. I think Legends are at the favorite when you look at it in paper, but I think the Monkeys are going to get it done and shock the world. So that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for everyone listening in here, and continue staying tuned to National Wiffle and keep growing the sport of wiffle ball. Thanks, everybody.